Hey there, dirt bike people. I'm Chuck from TrueTech, and today I'm going to tell you why I don't torque most fasteners. In fact, I can simplify it. The only fasteners that I regularly torque are head bolts and camcap bolts on 4-strokes. I do torque 2-stroke heads, but if I didn't have a torque wrench handy, I wouldn't even worry about it. It's not that critical. There are a lot of things that I could say about this topic, and we'll get into a bunch of it, but really what it boils down to, if you want it in the first minute of this video, people have this idea that when you torque a fastener, it's more accurate than when you don't torque it. That idea is simply false, and I'll tell you why. Behold an awesome drawing of a fastener. This fastener is going into some type of material. I don't really care what it is. Let's say it's steel. So this is obviously a cross-sectional diagram. What happens when you tighten down a bolt is these threads are pulling down inside the material, and when the head reaches the material, you start stretching this bolt a little bit. So essentially what you're doing is putting tension on that bolt. The threads, as you're turning it, want to come this way, and the head is resisting, saying, no, 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 I want to go this way. So this bolt is being pulled in two directions, and it's creating a friction zone here and against each surface of each thread. Technically, it would be one surface wrapped helically around this bolt. So in normal cases, the friction that is created between the bolt head and the threads is what keeps the bolt from spinning and backing its way back out. It's quite logical then to think, well, if there's any change in friction between the head of the bolt and the material and the threads of the bolt, any change at all for any reason, then this tension is going to change, and therefore our torque is going to change. There's a disconnect there, and it decreases our accuracy. So what are some things that can cause that? Well, number one, dirty fasteners. We're all working on dirt bikes and dirty things in general. Every bolt and every set of threads that is not cleaned of dirt and ambient debris is going to have some variables when you go to torque it. Loctite, both old Loctite and new Loctite. Old Loctite is going to be sitting in these threads, and if you don't clean that out 100% thoroughly, which is in practice entirely impossible to do, you're going to get extra resistance between the threads and your torque wrench, which means that the tension on this bolt is going to be less than if you had a smooth surface. Now, when you're putting new Loctite on some threads, essentially what you're doing is providing a lubricant. So as you're torquing it, there's less friction here, so you're going to be placing more tension on the bolt than if your threads were dry. Any grease whatsoever, anywhere in this area here, is going to create a drastic change in the amount of friction that you're seeing on your torque wrench. Now, those of you who are familiar with torque will know that there are wet specs and dry specs. A wet spec is roughly twice as tight as a dry spec. So if you're tightening a bolt that has a dry torque spec and there's any lubrication on here, essentially you're tightening the bolt way, way more. Now here's another problem. Most torque specs on motorcycles are dry torque specs unless otherwise specified. When you're torquing a dry fastener, especially aluminum, because aluminum has a bunch of give to it, it's kind of bouncy. So as you're tightening this bolt head, it's not rotating perfectly smoothly. You'll be familiar with, as you're tightening a bolt, you'll hear it go click, 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 kind of like it's squeaking along the surface, which is exactly what it's doing. So even though you're doing a smooth motion with your torque wrench or your wrench, what's happening with your torque wrench is it's reading like this. The bolt is stuck and you're moving with your torque wrench. The bolt is not moving. There's a slight delay there. Even if it's small, you'll get creaking. Creaking is basically the bolt jumping around in a circle. So it'll resist and resist, and then once it reaches its threshold, it will jump and the torque actually will go down, and then it'll get stuck again, and then as you keep applying pressure, the torque will go up. The max number that you see on your torque wrench is going to be this, but in reality, as soon as you take your torque wrench off of that fastener, you're going to get this. So depending on how much friction there is between that material, you're going to get a vastly different torque number from your torque wrench. Another thing to consider is vibration, especially with small fasteners. So you torque up your bolt, then you're riding your bike and it's vibrating. Well, exactly like what's happening here, as the bike is vibrating and there's tension here, the bolt wants to let go. So if there's enough vibration, and very often there is, between these two components, this bolt is going to start to relax. Even if it doesn't come loose, it's going to relax. And this torque number that you applied to this fastener is no longer going to be the same as when you torqued it. I've got a bike on the bench right now, and I'm going to show you a real life example of that. Now, I've done a short on this, so some of you may have seen this. I got this idea from my friend Arthur, who is a military helicopter engineer, and this is actually part of some of the torquing procedures that they do on helicopters. Now, I'm going to slide this fork up in here. I just finished servicing these. I used these forks to demonstrate lesson 3 in my suspension clinic. If you're interested in that, the link is in the description. So you'll notice that I'm putting these in dry, and I don't normally do that because dry torque is not as accurate as wet torque, exactly for that vibrating, ratcheting reason that we just went over. A wet torque is going to give you a lot smoother operation, and therefore you're going to get a more accurate torque reading. Now, you can't just go and apply the same torque value from a dry torque spec to a wet torque spec, obviously. So if I put grease on these and then I torque them to the proper spec, they would be roughly double as much tension as there should be, and on a triple clamp bolt, that matters. Now, I've got my snap-on torque wrench here. The torque spec on this is 15 Newton meters, so I'm going to set that. Now, my next one, back and forth a few times, make sure it's accurate. Now, contrary to popular belief, these snap-on torque wrenches are not the most accurate wrench on the market. The Canadian military actually, according to my friend Arthur, they're not allowed to use these because they're not accurate enough. 14.9, that's about as close as you can get. Yep, 14.9. Okay, yeah, so these are not moving anymore. They are torqued as accurately as I can get them to 15 Newton meters. Now, I'm going to introduce a little bit of vibration. Now, let's see. So I'm going to see at what point these now start moving. And I'll bring you guys in here so you can see. So the number will go up, and then suddenly it will plateau or go down when the bolt starts to move. So 9, 10, 11. It started to move at 11, just over 11. So let's try this one. 7, 8, 9, 10. It's moving at 10, just over 10. So my question is, I've torqued this to 15 Newton meters, and according to the manual, you should now be able to go out and ride the bike. As I just shown here, you're going to drop roughly 30% after a little bit of vibration. And you know that there's going to be a lot more vibration on that assembly while you're riding the bike. So a conservative number would be 1/3 of your torque is gone. So what do? Do you go with the factory torque spec knowing that it's inaccurate, that you don't even know what the final torque spec is going to be? Or do you retorque this now and get it back to 15 Newton meters? Because that's not in the manual. So if you're torquing it according to the manual, you are losing something like 30%. But if you torque it accurately, you're over-torquing it, technically speaking, according to the manual. So there are 2 ways to approach any problem. One is from the theoretical side, and the other is from the practical side. So at this point, I'm going to get practical, and I'm going to say, I don't care what the torque number is. I've also tested to see how much torque it takes before the fork tubes start to bind in the triple clamps. And spoiler alert, it's a lot. If you want to see that video, I'll post a link up here for it, and I'll put a link in the description as well. I've also tested to see how accurately and how consistently I can torque a set of bolts. So I'll try and find that and post a link as well. So what I know is that I am plenty accurate, more accurate than the torque wrench with my hands. And I also know that when I tighten a set of triple clamp bolts, the fork tubes are not going to bind. They're not going to come loose. I've had quite a few experiences with 2013 KTMs where when you torque the triple clamp bolts, they slide up in the triple clamps. It actually happened in my YZ450 back in the day as well. So now what I do personally is I clean the bolts and the holes, I grease them, and then I install them. I know that I can get very consistent and accurate tension, which is really what matters on those triple clamp bolts. The other thing that I got to mention, I made a little note here, is that the smaller the fastener, the tighter the tolerance. So if you're torquing an M10 bolt, it's a big girthy bolt, your margin of error is going to be relatively large compared to a 6mm bolt. So it's going to be like in percentage. So it's commonly understood that torque wrenches have a margin of error roughly around 20%. And on a 6mm bolt that has a torque spec of 10 Newton meters, you got to be between 8 and 12, and that's a really, really tight margin. When you have any of the variables that we talked about earlier, like dirt or grease or Loctite or corrosion or wear, you cannot hit that accurately with a torque wrench. Now, I've been wrenching most of my life, and when I tighten an M5 or an M6 bolt, I can tell you two things are not going to happen. Number one, I'm not going to strip the fastener, because I've stripped them. I know what it feels like, and I know what it feels like when a fastener is coming to that threshold where it's almost wanting to strip. And the other thing is that it's not going to come loose. I know that I can tighten it tight enough that there's going to be enough tension and enough friction that it's not going to come loose. Experience also tells me that on certain bikes, certain fasteners tend to come out, and I do use a lot of Loctite on frame fasteners and engine fasteners. There are so many variables when you're working with dirt bike fasteners, vibration and dirt and temperature fluctuations and water and moisture and different environments. I like having a little bit of extra insurance, so I use Loctite to just help eliminate some variables that are inevitably going to be introduced by myself, whether I use a torque wrench or not. Now, circling back a bit, I mentioned that I am very picky about torquing head bolts and cam cap bolts, and there's a good reason why. With head bolts, there are a ton more variables, both on 2-stroke and 4-stroke, than with a standard like frame fastener or like a case bolt. With a head bolt, you're introducing basically everything that you could possibly introduce to a fastener. According to my understanding, the most difficult environment that you can put a fastener in is an environment where there are massive temperature fluctuations, and that's exactly what you're getting with head bolts. With head bolts, the material of the head is expanding, the material of the fastener is expanding, and with a bolt you have a helix on the bottom of it, basically the threads, and as your assembly is expanding and contracting, that bolt is also going to be spinning a little bit back and forth. And if your torque isn't the same across all four of your bolts, you're going to get warpage and you're going to get different effects on each one of those bolts, and that's going to exacerbate those differences in environment that those bolts are already having to deal with. Also, those bolts are not just responsible for staying tight, they're also responsible for keeping, in most cases, coolant from leaking and oil. So if you over tighten a head bolt, usually in most dirt bike applications, you'll have a multi-layer metal gasket, or in a 2-stroke, you'll have aluminum on aluminum with an O-ring in between, or sometimes a copper gasket. In any one of those situations, if you over tighten an aluminum assembly, that aluminum is going to start squishing. And if you squish it past a certain point, it's going to get weaker, and the torque on those bolts is actually going to decrease. And then you start running the risk of leaks of oil and coolant and things. Not to mention risking that the bolts are going to come out or strip the threads. So with head bolts, it's very important to get them not too tight, but certainly tight enough. With cam cap bolts, I'm even more picky because the bolts are small. They're, like I say, they're usually M6 bolts, so your margin of error is very small. And then also with dirt bike cam caps, it blows my mind that you have a hardened steel cam that is running inside of an aluminum plain bearing journal. The opportunity for that to go wrong is almost endless. If you've ever seen a scored cam journal, usually due to heat or lack of lubrication, you know exactly what I mean. So if you tighten that cam cap a little bit too much, usually the clearance is about 1 thou. So if it squishes at all, that clearance goes away and you don't have enough room for that pressure fed oil to isolate the camshaft from its journal, and you're going to wipe a cam and a cam cap almost immediately. Also, there's an intense amount of vibration, and when the valves are coming back up and when the cam is pushing the valve down, that cam is exerting the force upward on that tiny little aluminum cam bridge. It's incredible that we don't see more cam cap or cam bridge failures than we do. And remember, we're dealing with such a tiny little margin of error on such a tiny bolt that's usually around 10 Newton meters. It's incredible. There's nowhere in an engine where I take more time and where I pay closer attention than setting the tension on head bolts and cam cap bolts. So on most fasteners, I'm like way over here. I'm not using torque specs because there are a huge amount of variables that I have to account for in order for me to get the right number on a torque wrench. If I'm doing it by hand, by feel, I can accommodate for those variables on the fly because I've done it so much. On the other hand, when it comes to bolts where the torque is very, very critical and where there are a huge amount of variables that my hand will not be able to tell me about as I'm torquing a bolt, that's where I go to the manual, I get the exact torque spec, I clean the fasteners, I read whether it should be dry or whether it should be wet, I use the correct oil. If you want to see a really intense example of torquing down a cylinder head and cam caps, I'll put a link up here. It's a YZ450, and it's a process that I take very seriously. So on some fasteners, I'm over here. On some fasteners, I'm over here. Now, keep in mind that I have a lot of experience. I do this every day. It's how I make my living, and I've done so for a very long time. If you haven't developed a fine and acute feel in your hand when you're turning a wrench, then it's going to take you a little bit longer to do things accurately. Then it's going to be worth it for you to have a manual on hand to look for the torque spec, to clean the bolt properly and the hole, and to be very thorough about what type of lubricants, if there are any, that need to go on that bolt. And keep in mind, if you put Loctite on that bolt and it doesn't call for Loctite, you're now essentially dealing with a wet torque instead of a dry torque. It's not exact. You got to be really careful. To sum it all up, I guess what I'm saying is that torque specs are not as accurate as most people think that they are. If you want access to my courses and my discussion forum, I'll put a link in the description. Thanks a lot for watching.